come April 4, a new member of parliament for East Portland will be chosen. And right now, all eyes are on JLP's Anne-Marie Vaz and PNP's Damien Crawford. And we have the perfect matchup this year. Another Damien on the phone, Mr. Damien Gordon, and with us on set is political analyst Richard Crawford. Damien Gordon, assistant lecturer, Department of Government at UA Mona. Good morning, Mr. Gordon.
Good morning, Abel.
How do you feel right now? Before we get specific, were you not a PNP or a JLP person and you're just hearing what the candidates are saying? Where do you think the people would go right now?
That's for me or that's for Mr. Crawford?
Damien, that's for you, Damien.
Okay. Well, it depends, because I think both candidates have a different message. I think one of the candidates' messages addressing the more material or the bread and butter needs of the constituents, and that message has a particular appeal to specific demographics. So a lot of Portlanders who perhaps have been waiting for some kind of intervention may find that message more appealing. The other candidate is presenting a more long-term vision, investment in those areas that will, the impact of those investments will be felt over the long term. So it depends on the demographics and how they feel about politicians, because many members of the constituency perhaps would say, you know what, we cannot trust that one of the candidates will fulfill the promises made. However, if one candidate is presenting me with material benefits that are immediate, I am more likely going to take those in the absence of any guarantee otherwise. So it depends on the demographics and who the messages appeal to. So that will ultimately determine which candidate comes out victorious.
Okay.
Let me see if Dickie knows which candidate would be associated with each of Damien's categories. So which one is the long-term or which one is the immediate?
I think that for the most part, the kind of vision that Damien Crawford has presented is one which would be more long-term in terms of the benefits of that vision.
Right.
And I think the other candidate is saying, you know what, Portland people deserve better now. We want improvements now. And many persons may find that message more appealing given the fact that they consider themselves to have been suffering for far too long.
Gotcha. Dickie, your analysis.
Well, very interesting, but the campaign started and the campaign shifted, it changed. Anne-Marie wasn't there for about 2 years working, and then Bloomfield dies, right? So the campaign was against Bloomfield, and the argument that Damien has just posed. The PNP has been there all these years, quote unquote. Politicians have been there, and nothing has really happened for the people. But the situation has changed dramatically since that. And now Damien Crawford goes in. Yes, and I agree with the long-term strategy and the issues he's dealing with. And the whole ball game has changed now. Right now, today, this morning, the message, I think, from Damien Crawford is reaching into the young people, because they speak the same language, or he speaks the same language as the young people. Lecturer, younger, there's a language thing that they have and a communication system that us older people might not have, but it works and it goes across. The other thing that I think is in his favor, of course, is that having just heard about the budget and the realities of economic life in Jamaica, I think that has changed the thing quite significantly.
In his favor?
Back in his favor.
Well,
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, let me ask you the same question I asked Mr. Gordon then. Were you a neutral and really just want to go off what you have heard so far? I'm not talking about you, Dickie.
I think
the average Joe would go with.
The average Joe would say, listen, I'm going to really go with the PNP candidate because he's talking about fundamental change. And the handful of wealthy people and the handful of the rich are doing very well, So that's not a problem. And I mean, maybe Anne-Marie has that group sewn up already. But I think the average Joe said, boy, I can't take this much longer, but maybe this youth here can give me a chance.
So you think after 30 years in the constituency, where they have not seen very much from the PNP, or you said they're still having issues with the PNP, they would still vote PNP because Damien brings this promise of something new?
Well,
a new day?
Remember, Damien comes in and gets this, he solidifies this 2,000 vote majority, right? That the PNP has or had all these years. And in modern polls right now are even showing, at least at a dead heat and a sort.
Who's polls? Because PNP said they have polls showing
They
Damien winning.
they are
JLP
winning.
said
There's
they
another
have.
one said
Right,
JLP
so
is winning.
whose polls
And
do
there's
you
another
trust?
one that I saw that shows, I just saw it yesterday, that shows that Damien is ahead.
Yeah.
Mr. Gordon, having said what you said earlier about the long term,
Yeah, so I think
as
that,
a,
right. So I think that in terms of the base of our political party, the People's National Party definitely has a stronger base in Poland. However, the youth vote is not always predictable. And whilst we may say that the more long-term issues should be appealing to Jamaicans who want, long-term goals, that is not always the case in our political structure. Oftentimes, the party or the individual that presents or mobilizes more resources can do a better job of appealing and getting the youth votes. So the money factor is a big factor that we cannot discount. But clearly the People's National Party would have a built-in advantage. The seat has become a reliable PNP seat. They extended their margin of victory even the last election when there was a swing against the party. So, and they have put their best candidate possible. Damon Crawford is perhaps the best candidate that the party could have fielded in any seat across Jamaica, which shows that the party is definitely not taking anything for granted.
what does history suggest, Mr. Gordon? What does history suggest as people who vote for politicians? Do we vote for the now or do we vote for the long term? What does history suggest?
I think that after 50 odd years of promises unfulfilled, many people have lost faith in politicians to deliver. And as such, the politicians that come to benefit now, that put something in their hands, are the politicians that many persons are gravitating to, in the absence of any assurance that politicians will deliver on many of the promises that they make.
Well, let's talk about, you mentioned Damien, and I'm going to ask Dickie this question about Damien coming in, PNP having brought him in because he's the best that they would have right now. But Anne-Marie Vaz has been in the constituency and she has been working. What have the notion of ours versus that outsider coming in? Does that play a role in the fact that she has been in the community and she's been working in the community and she's galvanized support being on the ground as opposed to somebody who is coming in
Yes, right, yes. It has played a role. The PNP machine that has gone down into Portland and is occupying the airwaves and social media, right, at this point in time, have put that message firmly back in the constituency, back in the arena. Now, I agree with the lure of money, obviously, and the ability to sway voters.
And the lure of money, you're talking about the JLP.
But I don't think we could say that the PNP has any money really to dish out. And recent by-elections, remember St. Mary and other places like that, the recent by-elections have shown the effect and the impact of money going in on jobs and handouts. But then subsequently to that, it has also shown that the money, when it is finished, that's it. You're back to square one.
And so East Portland is experiencing a boost now, but then what of
East Portland is a test tube
yes.
case, All the issues that you are asking there are coming out in this case. This is a laboratory case. Race, class, everything that you talk about, it's all in the test tube being fermented and acid is being added to it.
How is this different from any other by-election or any other election?
This one?
Yes. How is it different? Because the money issue is always an issue. The handouts issue is always an issue. How is this different?
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Let's hear Mr. Gordon.
From the standpoint of the People's National Party, this siege is very important because if the party loses the seat, clearly the party would find itself in a very precarious position because this is one of their safer seats. And I think that it's obvious in the fact that they have sent Damien there that they're not taking anything for granted because this is a must-win seat for the People's National Party and for Peter Phillips' electability in the next general election as well. So a lot rests on the outcome of East Portland.
Yeah.
I'll ask the two of you the same question. What's the strongest move by the JLP so far, Mrs. Vaz, and the strongest move from PNP with Damien?
The strongest move by Mrs. Vaz so far has been her, her tenacity, her being in the constituency. She has worked, okay. And she has offered herself. She's saying, look, I'm here to help. I'm here to correct the ills. The strongest thing, of course, as we said earlier, with the change, with Damien Crawford, here is our number one man. Here is the best candidate that we have right now in the People's National Party. Maybe in both parties, I don't know, but let us say in the People's National Party. They want to win this election, and therefore they have brought everything to bear on this. And I think that his messaging and his bravery too, you know, because he's come back, he going there, he's a trickster. He has been criticized, but he has settled down very quickly. And the entire PNP machinery, with the expertise of Maxine Henry Wilson as campaign manager, you can see the difference and the attention that they're paying there.
Yeah.
So I agree with that assessment as well. I think that Anne-Marie Vaz is the ideal candidate for the Jamaica Labour Party. And I come to the fact that she has been there for a while. She has been working. She seems to be feeling well loved. But Damien, on the other hand, as a particular appeal, his appeal translates our demographics, and especially for the youth votes that the party wants to capture. His message is particularly appealing to that demographic. So I think the party definitely sends its best candidate to East Portland. There's no doubt about it.
There's a notion now where Damien is being ridiculed a little bit for this goat argument. He's obviously trying to push a very sustainable line, but I heard young people when Anne-Marie Vaz was moving through the town saying no goat, that him can't really see the vision. He was commenting yesterday to say, you know, there's a particular level of dunceness that he sees in people who cannot understand the vision, which is how Damien speaks. Has he dealt himself some blows that he himself has to now rise above in his utterances? He's a man who speaks very freely. He says some things that have rubbed people the wrong way as it concerns Mrs. Vaz. Does he need to kind of temper himself a little bit more? Or is that what people love about him?
No, people love that about Damien's a straight talker. And, you know, I found the amazing thing about him. I was in a group of what you may call professional, middle-class, uptown women. And them all rate Damien as the best. I mean, to them, he is the difference in the politics from the tired old, same old story.
And what is the difference? What is that qualitative thing?
The ability and the capacity to speak and speak of something new and different.
And to reach everybody.
And I think what the election in the US has shown is that a lot of persons are grown tired of political correctness. They want politicians who speak their mind and address the issues which are uncomfortable in a frank, upfront manner. And they welcome that change to the political discourse. So I think that Damien definitely has a particular appeal because he's not afraid to speak his mind. Does that thing, especially for the youth voter?
Does that mean you don't have an issue with his utterances, Mrs. Vaz and stuff?
I think that some of the utterance, I mean, political maturity is something that all politicians must acquire, and as such, there's always room for improvement. But sometimes saying speaking the inconvenient truth in a far direct manner is not a problem because a lot of persons perhaps don't want us to address those inconvenient truths. And when somebody speaks of these inconvenient truths, we can have a conversation around it. So at least it stimulates some conversation.
It's interesting. I was speaking to an East Portlander on Friday who says there's no way that the PNP can come in and take this seat from Mrs. Vaz because she's so popular. But apparently this is not really a popularity contest. If I listen to you gentlemen, you're saying Damien has a real shot of doing this.
The by-election has done, you know, it has also mobilized the people of East Portland. Yeah. Some of the people who felt, boy, this man not doing anything. Let us say genuinely Bloomfield wasn't doing anything and they were taking them for granted. But it has rekindled enthusiasm in the community.
Thanks, Mr. Gordon.
Yes, thanks, Neville.
And thanks, Mr. Crawford.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting, eh?
It's going to be very interesting.
Crawford.
Political
analyst Richard Crawford, an assistant lecturer in U.S. Department of Government, Damien Gordon.
Oh, gosh.
Where's Anne-Marie?
Yes. More on Smile after the break. Yes, you caught that one, man. Good job. Good job.